Hello, good evening, welcome. Please confirm if you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Great. Welcome. Okay. All right, so we are 10 minutes out. Let's just give a few minutes for others to join in and then we'll kick off.
All right. All right. So next Saturday, this Saturday, just 1 hour. I'll be back.
All right, so while we wait for others to join in, let us just begin with a little activity. Hi, everyone. I can see some presents here. Hi, Amanda. Hi, Kennedy, Linus, Mercy. Welcome. Thank you for joining right on time. So to kick off, let's start with a little question. You can introduce yourself using the chat. Introduce yourself, tell us what community you're part of, and then tell us one of your biggest challenges creating a portfolio, because that's what we'll be discussing during the masterclass today. So let us do that in the comments. If you are just joining, we are asking questions to get to know each other better. You can just state your name, what community you're part of, and then you can share what your biggest challenge has been while building your developer portfolio. It's going to be a super interactive masterclass, so I would really like if we engage in the comments, so it's not cold and quiet. Okay, we have one response from Linus. Hi, Linus from Kenya. He is in the PowerLearn project community, and one of his challenges is that he transitioned into the field and he needs to know how to market his newly earned skills. Great. That is good. I'm sure some of this would be discussed during the session today. Thank you for sharing, Linus. Anyone else can share as well. Just tell us your name, what community you're part of, and then share what your challenges has been while building your developer portfolio. So just give the next 6 minutes for that, and then once that is up, we will begin. Anyone else is free to share. I'm sure Linus is not the only person who has challenges within his portfolio. Okay, I would like to think that everyone else is thinking about it. So while you're thinking about that, also um, get prepared to ask other questions during the call because we will not be the only ones having the conversation. Okay, Amanda. Hi, Amanda. She's part of the dev and design community, and her challenge is that she's new to the tech space and design, and she's still in the stage of acquiring skills to build her portfolio. Great. Thank you for sharing, Amanda. Your answers to your question or to the challenge you're facing currently will also be discussed during our conversation today. If you're just joining, welcome. We are asking just one question. So you can state your name, the name of your community, and what your challenge has been trying to build your portfolio. We have had 2 responses so far, and I would really love if more persons contribute to that so we know exactly how to channel the conversation today and how to better help you. Hi, Adeola, welcome. Okay, we will begin. We are 3 minutes out and we've had quite a number of persons join. Hi, Godwin. Thank you for joining in early. So we will just begin with introductions. We'll talk about what the masterclass is, what team we're focusing on today, and then we will kick off with our very first speaker. So hi again, everyone, and welcome. This is the very first masterclass series for the year, hosted by Propel. And so you must have gotten this information from your community admin, or you must have gotten the invite in your email. And the masterclass series is organized to help you who are our users in Propel here to help you advance your skills, to help you improve what you do, and also to help you build your portfolio, add what's necessary to make you stand out while applying for jobs. And so today we are starting off with a very important topic, and that is how to build a strong developer portfolio. Today we're going to have 2 speakers, and these 2 speakers will be performing 2 different activities. So first up, we will have Emeka Allison, and I will just introduce him, and after that, we'll get on to listening to him and what he has to share with us today. So Emeka is a full stack software engineer, and he's also a product developer from Nigeria. He currently works as a full stack engineer at onboard team at Nestcoin, which is a team that is empowering individuals access global finance through decentralized finance. He also co-founded Dome Academy, which is a community-based platform that encourages tech enthusiasts to learn in public. Hi, Emeka. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this and welcome.
Hi everyone. Um, trying to start my video. All right. Can you guys hear me or see me very well? All right. So, hi everyone. Hi everyone in the Propel community. So, I'm just going to go straight to sharing my screen. Um, yeah, I'm just going to go straight to sharing my screen. So, let me just do just that. All right. So, go to presentation mode. Present. Present. All right. You guys can see the screen, right? Can you guys see the screen? Uh,
Yep,
uh,
we can.
all right. So, I'm talking about building an awesome portfolio, and this time around it has in public, but you can do it in quiet also. But I would encourage you to do it in public. So, I think I'll skip this icebreaker session because I don't have so much time. But I think you can think through this question just to lighten up a little bit. I'll say if you're to have a dinner with any historical figure, living or dead, who would that be? You can write your answers in chat. I think maybe like just like maybe 1 minute or so. Um, somebody say Charles Darwin. All right. So while we're getting the answers to that, yes, no. So mostly one thing we need to do is that we need to just stand out in the current job market. Um, Most times when we're as techies or as professionals we are, to really make a mark, to really be on demand, to really be people that actually are considered for roles, we need to stand out professionally from other people. So, have you ever considered what makes other people stand out from the rest when it comes to getting opportunities? Have you felt the desire to level up professionally your professional journey and make a mark in your chosen field? um like we know the current job market, the honeymoon stage for like developers and techies is kind of over. So right now, it's I won't say it's harder, but I feel like they need people to show more evidence before they are able to hire you. You need people need to trust that you able to come in and hit the ground running, whatever endeavor or whatever field that is. So the current job market is increasingly more difficult to navigate because of the requirements and expectations set in terms of expertise, experience, and competence. So they need to see your expertise, they need to see your experience, and need to see your competence. And sometimes this can be daunting for someone just starting out. So if you're just starting out, that can be daunting. But if you're also a professional, also yeah, you still need to consider this. So the answer is what you need is actually evidence. You need to show evidence. You need to show that you're capable of getting something done. You need to show evidence of your competence. People need to show evidence, not just saying that you can, but actually proving that you can. So yeah, so when we talk about evidence, it's a way of showing that you can. Most of the stuff is that you can talk about things you can do. Hey, I can do this. I can build a website. I can build an API endpoint. I can actually. I've done this before. I've done this before. But someone will like, okay, can I see what you've done? Can you show us what you've done? You need to build evidence, and in order to build evidence, this is where you need your portfolio as a distance. So a portfolio um it's what you need. So how do you create evidence? To create evidence, you need a few things. A showcase of your competence in a particular skill. You need work experience. So in order to build evidence, you need work experience. You also need to prove a proof of knowledge of the field you're in. You need quantifiable results. I need testimonials or something that can vouch for you. So one powerful tool in achieving this is a well-crafted portfolio. And a portfolio is more than just a collection of your work. It's a showcase of your accomplishment, your skills, the unique value you bring to the table. In today's competitive market, a compelling portfolio can be the key to opening doors and seizing opportunities. So right now, I would just say one thing. Most of the time, when I'm trying to apply for jobs or I'm trying to, I found out that one very good strategy is to go direct to the whosoever is the CEO or whosoever is the hiring manager of that company, and sending them an email directly, cold emailing them. And I feel that works most of the time because I've been able to secure interviews, a lot of interviews, and I feel like out of it has a higher success rate than just applying on the job sites and just submitting my resume and going through the entire like the usual process. So to create evidence, you need a very good portfolio. And can somebody here explain what a portfolio is? Can somebody just write down what they think a portfolio is in the chat? Um, I just need one response and we can go on. Okay, so projects you've built. Yeah, that's something about a portfolio, it's showing what you've been able to do. That's what a portfolio is. But I think a portfolio is just more than that. So before you build a portfolio, you need to know where to start. So you need to know where to start. For people that you've not had a portfolio before, you don't really know it, you don't really kind of know where to start in the portfolio, or you have experience, but you've not really put together the work like what you've been doing. You need to know where to start. So before setting out to build a portfolio, you need to ask yourself these key questions: what special expertise, skills, or things you love doing can you include in your portfolio to impress your potential employers or or collaborators? So you need to show your special experience, your skills, and things you love doing. So you need to be able to like, what are the special things? How do I show this to people? Now, how can you make sure that your portfolio tells an interesting story about your professional journey and why you're valuable in your field? So your portfolio doesn't need to just be blind and just show the projects you built and the link to it. It should have like stories, should have things that really make them stand out to people, make just kind of grow interest because you're trying to tell a story about yourself. It's kind of like a brand of yourself. When you're creating a portfolio, you're not just doing it in terms of I'm building this portfolio because I want to show out my work. You're doing this portfolio because you want to show out yourself. And remember, it's just like you're trying to show out what you're really good at, what you've been able to do. You want to show them that hey, if you hire me, you're making the right choice. If you get me into this project, this is the best decision of your life you can ever make. Like I'm like from what I've been able to do, from what I've been able to accomplish, from the things I've been able to interact with, this is actually the best one of the best decisions you can make for your company and for the organizations. You need to make them feel that you're making the best decisions. So you need to tell a good story. You know the best ways to make a good portfolios and how to keep learning to stay ahead in your career. So you need to keep on learning because when you keep on learning, you keep on working on things that are more advanced, you keep on working on more things, and you can add those to your portfolio and more things like that. And how can you make your portfolio show who you are and what makes you unique in a crowded job market? So your portfolio also has to show who you are and what makes you unique, like a unique approach to work, a unique approach to solving problems, your unique approach to thinking around solutions. Not just that okay, you built a website and the website works, but how did you think about it? What are the methods you thought about? What are the challenges you went through, and what are the hurdles you overcame to be able to do to build what you did? So that's one thing to think about the portfolio. So key elements of portfolio, just a summary about yourself. You don't need to talk too much about yourself. Just a summary about yourself. Like think about it as a elevator pitch about yourself. Just say a few things about yourself, and that's it. You can put key experience or work or volunteer work in those sections. You can talk about like key work experience, or like if you don't have key work experience, you can talk about volunteer work, like things you're able to work on or so. I would say if you don't have stuff, you can talk about hackathons you've like performed in, or like collaborations that you've collaborated with your friends, and put it as if it's a work experience. You can tell the story as if it's something that you worked on, like a very serious project that you worked on that was really like it really solved a lot of problems for a lot of people, and that's it. Then the projects you worked on, this is one of the most important points. Yeah, you showcase a specific project you've been a part of, whether they are they were at work or during your studies or in personal endeavors. Explain your project goals, your role, the challenges you face, and the outcomes achieved. This demonstrates your practical skills and problem solving abilities. Then you can also show awards you've won. Um, that's also like a small boost. You can show awards you've won, articles you've written, certificates, all those kind of stuff. That's just like some extra garnishing on top of stuff. But the most important part of your portfolio is the projects. And just not anyhow projects. Some people make portfolios and they just put like get together like things they've just seen from YouTube tutorials and they just add it to their portfolio, or they just put a portfolio, they just put the projects there. They don't really, there's no life in it. Like when you click on the project, you just see the work and you're just like, okay, like I just need an explanation of how this work. Can I see the source code? Can I see how did you think through this through this problem? And most of the time, nobody wants to come and most of the time, since they have a lot of people applying for that job, applying for the roles that are going like that in those organizations, um, they won't have time to come and say, let's call this person and try to get this person to explain what this project is all about. They want you to be able to showcase all of that in your portfolio, like explain all of that in your portfolio. So your portfolio has to you to tell a story about your work, what you've been able to do. It's like you're telling a story. I know, like for developers and for us as devs, it's not that easy to tell stories because all we know how to do is just to write code, and that's the language we speak. But you need to be able to tell good stories about about your work, about what you do. Make it something that you're proud of. Make it something that you're good. Like once you, no matter how shitty you think your project is, sell it like it's good. Sell it like it's like try and sell it. Try and be like it's to think like a salesman when you're making portfolio. So important things to include in your project are the purpose of your project, a link to a demo, a video demo if it's available, a GitHub link because I think most of the people here are developers because I am according to the this thing was how to build a strong developer portfolio. So I'm guessing most of the people are developers. So a GitHub link if it's public. So if your project is public, a GitHub link should also be there, then a detailed description of the project, tools used, tech stack, platform, key details about the core challenges you overcame, and if your project has users, talk about it. Now we've talked about making projects, so what the most important stuff is where do you even find these projects? Like, bro, like you just told me to go and do projects, but where do I even find these projects? How will I even find this project? You tell me to build do a portfolio, but where will I find this project? Where will I find projects? So I'm just going to give you some very good ways to find projects. How to get projects that you work on to add to your portfolio. Especially if you're just a newcomer or something like that, you can make a project as an extension of your of a learning material or a way to master a tool or a stack. So a very good thing I encourage people in Dome Academy, like members of Dome Academy, to do is that once they're learning a language or they're learning a skill or learning a skill for the first time, I then to try and work on a project, a very good project, a big project, a project that is hard, that is going to take them time, that you need to learn about a lot of stuff about the project. And like, I will just share this like as experience. Um, so I was trying to learn, I was trying to learn how to use Kubernetes and how to use Kubernetes for for the time. I made a very serious mistake, but that's one of, that's one of the fun parts of this project. When I was working the project, I didn't even know. First of all, I didn't even know how to write React for the first time. I didn't know about front end. I was a backend developer most of the time, and I've not really written front end. So I started learning React for the first time, and I saw came through a tutorial, a tutorial on how to build a quiz website. So I said, instead of it to be a quiz website, why don't I just build like a platform where teachers can come and create questions for their students. And when they create questions for their students from different subjects, they can create different subjects, create questions for their students, and also grade their students and also see the progress of their students. So you'll see if their students is improving or failing or this thing. That was a very big project for somebody that doesn't know how to write React. Somebody that doesn't know how to. I've not done something in front end before. I just knew much about backend, but I didn't know about front end. I decided to do the project. It took me a long time. It took me like 2 grueling weeks to get it done. When I was finally done, 3 weeks actually. It took me like the final like 3 weeks to get it done. When I was finally done, I presented to someone that I used the project to like pitch to someone that wanted to get a job as a this thing. I was able to even host it on Kubernetes, and so I ended up racking a $500 bill on Google Cloud platform. But that's another story for another time. But one thing is that what made me extremely proud about our project was the amount of effort it used, and it was one of the it was on that project that got me. It was it was that project that actually got me a job in the company I worked on before working at Nestcoin. So it was a company that got me a job in the company I worked on before working at Nestcoin. They saw the project, they were very interested because I made a I detailed my work on GitHub, what I did, every single stuff, all the features that was in the project on GitHub, and they were really interested. I was like, oh, we've seen this project you worked on. Please explain how you build this stuff. And I was really explaining, like, because I was excited about explaining it to them. They were like, how did you solve this problem? I was like, okay, I solved it using this stuff. And it was there. It was they could see the source code and they could see how I was able to solve the problem. Then from hackathons, I won't tell you how many opportunities I've gotten from people seeing that I work on a project in a hackathon and they want to like get me on a job. I've worked on different hackathons. I feel like hackathons have opportunities in disguise. Do hackathons. If you're a developer, if you're just learning this thing, even though you're just learning, you don't know anything, do hackathons. Do you know, I've done so many hackathons where I was so naive of the tech stack. I'm going to talk about like some of the projects because I'm going to show some examples. I'm going to talk about the projects I've worked on. I'll tell you how naive I was. Like I didn't even know what I was doing. But I worked on it. I did a hackathon in just do the hackathon and stuff like that to win and to build something that was impressive with team of people, and it was actually very cool. Freelancing, you know what freelancing is? Open source contributions. There's actually a project repository called Project Based Learning on GitHub. When you just go to Google and search for Project Based Learning on Google, Project Based Learning GitHub, what it will show you is that it's going to show you a repository where you see different tech stacks and projects you can do under those tech stacks. So I feel like if you're looking for projects to do, you can do that. Now, if you're working for a company and you're working on like there was a complex flow that you're trying to get done, maybe they told you to do something very complex. Like maybe they told you to do like a file manager where you have like different like once people can actually navigate to files and they can create files within those files. Like creating a file manager in an application is a very technical stuff to do. And when you're able to do it yourself, you can document that and make it like something that you document and put it somewhere. How you build this process, how you did it, show the code and some other stuff. If it's proprietary, you don't need to show that. But if it's something that you feel like is open and stuff like that, you can show it. But be very careful. Understand the terms of agreement you have with the company and stuff like that. Don't expose proprietary stuff when you're trying to explain like some complex things you did. For example, if you worked on the OTP input, that's impressive stuff to do. Not many people can work on that. Bug bounties, dev communities on Discord, Reddit, and Twitter. There are dev communities there you can actually do. Then try and create a product. Anytime I'm working on a project on learning a new stack, I try and create a product for real users. Like I'm just trying to say I'm trying to create a startup or something. Although it's not like a startup, but I'm just trying to create like I'll try and get you real users to use it, and sometimes to use it and like stroke me and bash the project and some other stuff. But from there I'm learning like what don't like about the project and I'm improving it, and by improving it I'm getting better, like the project is getting better from that. So try and make it for users, try and build a product for users. If it's just one project you can build for users, it can go a long way in boosting your portfolio.
I'll connect you go.
So another thing I would say is quick tools, like tools you can use to create a portfolio: LinkedIn and Instagram. um I mentioned Instagram here because I was this. I made a slide a while ago. I just improved it for to focus more on developers. But I feel like LinkedIn is a very great way to showcase your portfolio and showcase your work. So I'm going to show examples about that. If you're a developer, you already know GitHub. If you don't use GitHub as a developer, I'm wondering what you're doing as a software engineer. I'm wondering what you're doing like with your career. You need to have that. You can use simple apps like Notion. I'm going to show you an example of how I use Notion to build a portfolio, or Airtable. I have a video about building a portfolio. I think I can share it in chat. You guys can watch the video and get more insight to that. Then there are page builders like WordPress, Visit.io, Mainstack, Webflow. Can use that to build a portfolio if you don't want to get your hands dirty and stuff like. Can use the portfolio platform like Read or CV, where you can actually it helps you create a CV about yourself, and also put projects. It's a very good professional tool for making like a very good authentic CV. resume about yourself. Then you can build a website from scratch, and this is one that is really gone for, especially if you're very like if you have the time and all these things. It's going to be very technical. Take you some time, but building a website also, building your own website, having a subdomain that is linked to your name, and having a domain in your name can really help put your this thing. So I'm going to show an example. So I'm going to start from my Notion portfolio. So I'm going to show you the projects I was talking about. So this is my Notion portfolio. Like, this is not a very detailed one, but this is just an example. So hi, I'm Mecca, a full stack developer at Nestcoin and founder of Dom Initiative, include full stack development and Web3. This is a link to my GitHub, a link to my listing. And when you click here, you see my resume, um, which is here where you can see all the what I've done and all this kind of stuff. So when people click on that, they see my resume. They see the work I've done for different companies. They can expand this to like get more details. Although I didn't really write much on that, about that, but Nation is a very good tool to use. This is the class that I was talking about. I used this to actually learn. I talked about it in more details on GitHub. Like the details are very listen. I didn't add the GitHub repository. That's like an oversight from me. But this was a very useful project I actually built that actually helped me learn lot of stuff around front end development. This is speed.sh. Is this actually a product that actual people use? It's kind of like an indie project I worked on. Is a URL shortener. I use it for like I use it most of the time if I want to shorten links I want to send someone and create like custom links for myself. So I kind of explained what this is. This is a website I worked for a client. He didn't really pay money, so I ended up using it as kind of like a template where I use for like to work for other clients and get jobs for other clients. So this speed.sh. I think I have more details on my website about this project. This is pay money. This is a hackathon, a project I worked during a hackathon, and I was able to do a lot of stuff around that. I added like what it is. So I talked about like the subscribers, what they do, and all these things. Talked about the core tech stack. Went into more details about that. There was a video demo I had, but because I was not subscribed to the video, this thing it went down, so I had to remove it there because the video I had a video demo year before at that time, but it's gone. And this is the V1 of Doom Academy website. The version one of Doom Academy website. So this is, and I also have access to like links to courses that I've created. So I'm also going to show you my website. Um, so my website is not that detailed, but you can actually see, get a view of my. You can come get in touch with me. You can see what I work on and what I'm currently building. I'm currently building Doom Academy and speed.sh in public. So you can get to click on that and know more about that. You can click on my very like projects I'm really proud of showcasing, and you can get to know more about them. So you can click and see more details about them where I explain in details stuff covered, lessons I've learned, all the stuff, the tech stack I worked with, AWS, all this kind of stuff, explaining all these things. So when an employer comes to my website, the person is like, oh, this guy can build this using this tech stack. The person can work on this using this tech stack, and it's just going to be very interesting. So yeah, so all this kind of stuff, it's an example. I can show you an example of someone I really admire within like my field. So this is Chidebere Ekenya. So he was able to build. He has a website and stuff like that. And from his website, you can see more details about him. You can see he showcases his tech stack. Then you can click here to click on his project catalog. So his project catalog is not on the same website as unlike me. I put my project catalog on the same website I build with. But his project catalog is somewhere external. So you can when you click on this, it takes you to this project catalog, which it kind of explains more. So you can make your project catalog, you can create a project catalog document, which is more detailed. You talk about the stuff, you tell the story about your work, give more this thing, talk about what was achieved doing the stuff. He really goes into details, talks about like the performance gains and all this other stuff, all the projects he worked on, the ones that are currently in development. And so I want to show you guys an interesting tool that I use and he also used, and that's read.cv. I feel like a lot of people don't really know this platform, but it's actually a very good platform to showcase like it's like a very good way to actually build a portfolio for yourself. So you can showcase your this. You can also showcase projects you worked on, and also like and the companies you worked on it for it, worked on the project for. So I showcased all these projects, showed like screenshots of all the views that I worked on during those projects and some other stuff, and also like my writing and where I went to schooling and some other stuff. I can show you other examples, but it's just up to you and this thing. Then finally, I'll say your GitHub has to sell you. So and your LinkedIn also. So I don't want to go into much of this. I just want to know if anybody has any questions. Let me go back to. Um, does anybody have any questions?
Yes, I don't know. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, good. My question is more about like customizing the portfolio. Like, let me elaborate. They say when you are applying for jobs, you don't just you try to customize your resume, okay, to that role that you are applying to, and making sure that you have things like keywords and I mean, how you can be like a good fit to this role, and how do you make sure that this also reflect in your portfolio? Because I mean, your portfolio will showcase projects that you work on the past, and
Yeah, so if you want to quickly create portfolios and meet the criteria for a particular employer that you're working with, I feel like you can just build a quick one with Notion and just include those relevant projects there. So that's why I mentioned Notion. Notion is a very quick way to build like these things. So Notion, and they have a very generous free plan for personal, like if you're just using it for just yourself, and it's a very good way of building a portfolio for yourself. So that's a very good way of building portfolio for yourself. So I'm going to go through some questions people wrote here. So Linus from Kenya says, I'm part of the Project Learn project, Power Learn project. My challenge is I transition in the field and I need to know how to market my skills, my newly earned skills in the market. So I say a very good way to market your newly earned skill in the market is to talk about it. Just go to your WhatsApp, go to your Twitter, like your social media. Make use of all your social media platforms and talk about it. I'm going to share like my LinkedIn, and so like, I talk about like things I'm working on, what I've done, and stuff like that. Like my LinkedIn is not boring in terms of like I even show my podcast and some other things like videos I'm doing, projects I've worked on, like initiate like all this stuff. I keep it interesting, keep it lively, and I've gotten like a lot of recruiters come to my LinkedIn account from time to time to come and say, hey, do you want to work on this project or do you want to do this stuff? And sometimes when I'm trying to also get projects, I go through LinkedIn, contact them directly, and sometimes they just check my LinkedIn, who's this guy talking, and they see, okay, oh, this is what this guy can do, this is what I'm not the greatest person in the world. I feel like I don't have the best this thing, but at least as long as I'm showcasing my stuff in public to what I'm doing in public, it kind of gets people interested in what I'm capable of doing. So also showcase your LinkedIn. I also want to show you an account. This is a friend of mine, Favor. He showcases like what he works on. He talks about it in he makes different stuff. Talk about it, get involved in all those things. Join communities where you can get involved and start talking and sharing what you do. And that's a very good way of 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 showcasing what you do. I think I have just 1 minute remaining, so I'll just answer Amanda's question. I'm a dev from Amanda, dev from in dev and design community. My challenge is I'm new into tech and design, so I'm still at the stage of acquiring skills to build a portfolio. So I'll say while you're acquiring those skills, build a project while you're acquiring the skills. Like I said, the best way to learn the skills is to actually build a very hard project. So build a project that challenges you, that you feel like giving up, but you just say because I want to prove to myself, I want to prove to myself I can do this. Build a project that will make you feel like giving up, and when you do that, and you build that project and you're really proud of it, and so showcase it, talk about it, be proud, beat your chest, tell people to come and use it. Are you following? Tell people to try and use this stuff, and from there you're getting more of this thing. Okay, so if you wanted to stand out, yeah, so you won't stand out to everybody. You won't stand out. I think my time is up. You won't stand out to everybody, but if you want to stand out, I think this is Cesar Wells. You need to make noise. The loudest person, like you have to be very loud in this market. You have to be very loud. They need loud people, so you have to be very loud. You have to just be very loud. So work on projects. Try and build as many as very good projects as you want. Projects that are very like that can challenge you, and yeah, and try and work as on as many projects as you can. So yeah, I think most of some people are just saying the how would they stand out. I think the final one is Adiola. I'm part of the dev and design called. My challenge is getting an internship and and how to well position myself ahead in my career as a product designer and also design inspirations. So I'll say, like I shared in the slides, where to get projects from. I think if you need inspirations, I think this could be a guide for you. I think designers, um, I think designers can also gain from this. If you're also a designer, you can go for hackathons, you can freelance, you can look for open source contributions, you can look for YouTube channels, you can look for people on Twitter, follow them, see what they are doing, try and make what they are doing, and yeah, that's that's what it is. So at one point, please don't remove volunteer work from your portfolio. Don't remove the volunteer work from your portfolio. Add it there, it's extra spice and stuff like that. Unless you feel it's unnecessary, but don't remove it from your portfolio. And yeah, but if your project you feel like you've done, you're not proud of it, like it's a project that you feel like you've done an improved work done, or the tech stack is out of date, feel free to remove that from your portfolio and put just relevant projects that really like have users or are currently live, they're still running, and people can actually use and test them, or you can actually demo them. So I think that's it from me. I think I will hand over the floor to the host. Thank you guys very much.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, it gets
Yeah,
not very.
but it's super low, but we can still hear.
I think this should be better. All right. Hi, Emeka. Thank you so much for sharing this. I'm sure everyone truly benefited from it. And we've been able to see how to build a strong portfolio, what things are important to add to have a strong portfolio. Thank you also for taking questions in the comments. There are some other questions here, but we can run through that after we've had the next part of the conversation today, which is the live CV review. Okay, so in the next few minutes, we will be having. Hi, Emeka, can you?
Yeah, I can hear. I'm not hearing you now, but I was hearing you before.
Uh, we lost you guys.
Are we done?
No, I think the host has network issues.
Okay.
Um,
Yes. Hi, everyone. So please give us a few minutes. I'm checking with Kando. I think the network on our hand is not so
okay, so
great.
while we're waiting for the host, I think to get things running, I'm seeing some questions. Somebody said, "How do you get to work on projects even though you don't have the skills? How do you work on hard projects even when your skills are not enough?" Oh, that was the same question I asked myself when I was working on projects. And the thing is, resources are available everywhere. You can find resources, you can find documentations on what specific stuff you're building, and you can find specific instructions on how to build with that. There's also AI. You can ask AI how to go around a project. Don't tell AI to build the stuff for you or stuff like that. Just tell AI, how do I go around this? How do I build this kind of stuff? What should I use? What should I do? And I feel like using the current models we have here are good enough to kind of tell you good enough steps to go around that. I feel to share this in the meantime, but I think I will just share it just for now. So if you want to contact me, if you want to be in contact with me, I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Ali Emeka. I'm more active on Twitter. I just got active on Instagram after they deleted my account. I had a lot of following on Instagram at the point, but they deleted my account. Um, then I'm also on YouTube and at Emeka Allison. Just started the journey recently, not really very consistent in it. And this might get up. So in case you need project ideas or you want to, feel free to look at the project I'm working there and see if you can contribute to it or do anything with it. Then you can also join Doom. It's a community of us. We're currently doing something. We're currently in our build mode where we build projects, mini project ideas as a community. So we work together on mini project ideas and try and build it, and kind of like a competition also, still can do the best one. So that's just it. All right, so let me just hand over to the host.
Yeah, hi. So sorry about that. The network kicked me out. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for stepping in and sharing that. Okay, so all right. So I'll just go back to introducing our next speaker, and she will be handling the live CV review here on the call. So I see some persons asking, what should I include in my CV? How should I highlight volunteer projects? What are things I should have? What are things I should take out? And this is the point where we'll get to take a look at great CVs and what you should include on there. So we'll be having Choma speak to us. She is the talent manager here at Propel. She has over a decade experience in people and culture, talent acquisition, and management. She also specializes in hiring talent management and building high-performing teams and efficient business operations that drive growth. So everyone, please welcome Choma as she walks us through the next part of our conversation today, which is the live CV review. Hi, Chi.
Hi, Hondo. Hi, everyone. Thank you very much for inviting me to take this session. And hello, everyone. It's nice to meet you all. I don't know if I'm audible enough. Can you hear me?
Yes, we
Yes.
can.
All right, thank you. So our time is fast spent. I think I have just 20 minutes left. I'm going to rush through this. What we'll do is I would first of all talk about CVs, talk about a proper guide to how to curate a standard CV before I move on to the practical session of reviewing CVs. So let us start. Forgive me, I'm going to rush through this because of our time, but if you have any questions, you can just put down your questions and I'll take the questions after this session. So first of all, we are talking about CVs here. What do we call a CV? A CV is, I call it a marketing tool that we use to sell ourselves professionally. marketing tool because that is the only thing that can tell a recruiter or a hiring manager about us before they are even able to meet us. Now, our CV is going to, or what our CV does basically is, our CV talks about everything that we have done pertaining to our background, our experience, the skills we have, the places we've worked, the kind of projects we've worked on, and then it just, guides the recruiter and the hiring manager on what kind of roles to place you in, or what kind of roles you fit in, and what kind of jobs or projects you'll be able to handle. So let's just go right into it. First of all, I'll start with how do you write an attention-grabbing resume? I have 5 points here. I'm going to talk about CV format. I'm going to talk about formatting and readability. I'm going to talk about the reverse chronological order. I'm also going to talk about, I'm not going to talk much about projects and portfolio because Emeka has taken that already. And then I'll just move on to keywords. So let us start with CV format. All right. I'll start with telling everyone here that a recruiter spends, I would say, 5 to 7 seconds on a CV. What I'm trying to say is a recruiter does not spend time looking at our CV. There are a lot of CVs, there are 1,000. For each role that come in, you would get nothing less than 100 CVs. Sometimes it could be more, sometimes it could even be up to 300 or 400. So you can imagine the amount of time it will take a recruiter to go through all of those CVs, which is why we talk about attention-grabbing CVs. You should have a CV that once a recruiter looks at it, within 2 seconds, the recruiter is actually interested to take a deep dive into it and properly look into it and then understand where you're coming from and what you're talking about. I would also like us to bear in mind that if your CV is not properly set up, it's possible you could have that experience, but the fact that your CV is not properly set up or your CV is not properly drafted, it hides a lot of info that that will determine if a recruiter is supposed to shortlist you for that role or not. Let's go deep into CV formats. Now, for CV formats, we are going to talk about the structure of a CV that helps make a strong first impression. A well CV format should include, first of all, your personal information. By personal information, I mean your name, your phone number, your email, your LinkedIn profile. That is optional, but I would advise you put it there, particularly when it has to do with tech roles. You put your LinkedIn profile. Some info are not necessary, like your marital status, your date of birth. No, they're not necessary. Even having your picture in your CV is really not necessary at all. I would even advise you not to put up your picture on your CV, particularly in this region. The only thing you need, I'll go back to it, your name, your phone number, your email, and your LinkedIn profile. I'll also talk about a couple of CVs I have been going through recently, and I don't know what the trend is about, but I realized that most CVs do not have phone numbers for some reasons. I don't know. Now, why your phone number is very important in your CV is because every recruitment or every recruiter or every organization have different recruitment processes. For some recruiters or for some organizations, their first step is a phone call. If they don't meet you, if they're not able to speak with you on the phone, they do not schedule you for interviews. So when you do not have your phone number on your CV, how is the recruiter supposed to reach out to you to call you? Your phone number is very important. Please, let's stop this trend of not including our phone numbers in our CVs. Your phone number, your name, phone number, email, and LinkedIn profile should come first. Then the next should be your professional summary. Now, your professional summary is a brief summary highlighting your strengths, highlighting your experience, and highlighting your career goals. It's just a 1 paragraph. I know some people do it up to 2, 3 paragraphs, which is fine, but I'll just advise you keep it brief. If you have a way to compress it and make it very, very brief, just highlight your achievements, highlight what you've been doing, highlight your skills, and then just generally your goals. Now, for talents that do not have a lot of experience, or for talents that do not even have experience, that are just starting off, you can just highlight your career goals. You can just talk about what you're looking to do or you're just looking, you can also talk about some other acquired skills that you have gathered, and then how you're looking to apply them in your next role. I don't know if I'm communicating. Now, this should not be more than one paragraph, like I had said earlier. Just keep it very, very short. Now, after your professional summary, you have your skills and competencies. Now, some people after professional summary, they go straight to their work experience. It is also not bad. So work experience might come before skills and competencies, or your skills and competencies might come before work and experience. But I'll advise you put up your skills first before your work experience. Now, what do I mean by skills? Now, it could be hard, it could be technical skills, it could be soft skills. Just ensure it aligns with the job you're applying for and your career. For technical skills, you could have skills like social media marketing. You could have skills like Python. When I say Python, I mean different programming languages. You could have skills like, for designers, you could have skills like UI, UX, just all of the skills you you have, you list them there. Then for soft skills, you have different soft skills. Soft skills could be communication, could be adaptability. Please put it there. Now, some CVs do not have soft skills. This totally depends on the recruiter. For me, I really do not mind if you don't have your soft skills, particularly when it has to do with tech roles. If you just have your technical skills, I'm okay with it. But I would advise, look at the role you are applying for. Look at the job description. If the job description talks about soft skills, please include your soft skills. Why I say you should include your soft skills is because a lot of applications these days go through the ATS, and then some recruiters also make it a criteria for the ATS to screen through and identify people that have soft skills that align with what they're looking for. So to be safe, please put your soft skills and ensure it aligns with what the job description is asking for. I'm not saying you should fabricate. I'm not saying you should put what is not right, but look at the job description against the skills you have, and then update your CV in that regard. Now, for work experience, it should be detailed. It should be descriptions of your past roles, your responsibilities, and your achievements. Now, we are talking about the companies you worked, the time you worked there, I mean, the duration of time you worked there, the month, the year, then the role you handled when you were with them. And then in bullet points, you also list down all of your responsibilities. While you're listing your responsibilities, also include your achievements, please, not just responsibilities, your achievements. Now, after your work experience, you have your education and certification. Your education refers to your school, your university. You might put your secondary school. For some recruiters, they don't really care about that. But to be safe, again, you can put your secondary school, put your university. If, let's say for those that have taken other certifications, please put it there as well. If you have done, if you have other schools you've gone to apart from the usual university and secondary school education, please put it up as well. Then your certifications, all of your certifications, this is particular for roles like DevOps, particular for roles like social media marketing. There are particular roles that certifications are very, very important for. If you have any certifications, please do well to include it as well. Then your project and your portfolio comes last. Emeka has spoken about project and portfolio. If you want to put a link to your website, or if you want to put a link to your GitHub, or if you want to put a link that contains everything, just however you want to put it together, ensure it is there as well. Now let's go into details. For formatting and readability, I'll talk about the fonts you can use. Now, when we talk about formatting and readability, how visually appealing your CV is, how easy to read it is, and how easy it is for a recruiter to be able to glance through within 5-6 seconds and be able to say, oh yes, I want to speak with this person, or I want to come back to this CV later. What are the things that makes our CV readable? We'll talk about fonts. I know a lot of people do not understand how important fonts are. We have certain fonts that we use for CV. We have certain fonts that are professional. We have fonts like the Arial fonts. We have the Calibri fonts. We have the New Times Roman. to be very, to be on the safe side, please just use any of those three fonts. Don't start using fonts for design, or start using very funny fonts that a recruiter or whoever has to squint their eyes, or the ATS is not able to properly understand it, and then just print it out. Those three fonts are okay for you. They are professional and they are okay for your CVs. Your font size should be between 10 to 12. Please note, your font size should be between 10 to 12. Then now that's for the body of the text. And then when it comes to headings like your maybe the name of the company or the role, where you put the name of the company, I'll show you all of that. When you put the name of the company and the role, you can now increase it slightly to like 14 to 16. Now, where you have your personal information, where you have your name, you know that one too can go as high as 16. That one can be bolder. That one can even be as bold as 20. Now, use consistent formatting. When it comes to formatting, if you are using italics for your what do I call it? If you're using italics to present the name of the company you worked in, let it be that every other place you are highlighting the names of the companies you've worked, ensure they are all in italics. Don't come to the first company you worked in, it is in italics, then the second one is not in italics. No, let everything be properly arranged. If the role you handled, you're making all of them bold, ensure every other place you are highlighting the roles you've handled or worked in, ensure they are all made bold. There should not be inconsistency in your CV. That way, it makes it very easy to read. Then another thing would be ensure you have adequate spacings, adequate margins, use bullet points so that when a recruiter is looking at it, the recruiter is able to know that this is where this particular sentence is starting from, and this is where it ends. This is where this particular statement is starting, and this is where it ends. Use bullet points. Then use clear dates, please. I had mentioned it before, month and year. For example, say where you work currently, you started working there in May 2022 to present. Ensure you put May, don't just put 2022 to 2024 or 2022 to 2025. Please, May 2022 to present. If it was 2020 to 2022, you can put June 2020 to February 2022. Ensure it is very, very clear. That way, the recruiter or whoever is looking at the CV is able to understand how long you worked in a particular place and altogether how many years of experience you have. Now, why all of this is important, let me just chip this in, is recruiters do not have the time to, most times the recruiter will not reach out to you to start asking you to explain things in your CV. You're not there to defend yourself. You're not there to explain anything that is on your CV. So once the recruiter doesn't understand anything, they move on straight to the next and just shortlist. That way, you just realize you're not getting called, or you qualify for that role, but you just see an email that says you do not qualify for the role. That is because the recruiter is not able to understand your experience or understand anything you've put up in your CV. One other important thing is, please ensure your CV is in PDF format. Your CV should always be in PDF format, unless you are instructed otherwise. Unless in the job description you've been instructed otherwise, your CV should be in PDF format. Please do not overuse colors. I open some CVs, or recruiters open some CVs, and then we see green here, we see red here, we see blue here, we see black here. It's a lot of drama. Please reduce, don't overuse colors. Then graphics is not necessary. You can use all of that for your portfolio. You can use all of that for your website, but for your CV, no, let it just be a proper document. All of those graphics, all of those colors, pictures, they are all not necessary. Then again, your fonts, your spacing, everything should be consistent. I'll be going next to reverse chronological order. Now, when this is particularly in the work experience aspect, when you're listing your work experience, ensure you list from your most recent. You started your career in 2019. Why do we have 2019 at the top instead of the most recent experience? You should always start from the most recent to the previous. Now you started working here 2020 to 2020 to present. It should be 2020 to present. Then the next one can now be 2019 to 2020. Always ensure the most relevant experience come on top. Now that way we are able to properly understand your career trajectory, and then we are also able to understand how you've been able to move from one particular organization to the other. The next is projects and portfolio. Emeka has spoken about this, so I won't talk much about it. You should always have your projects. It's okay, it's enough for me to see your CV, but please, I need to see the other things you've worked on, particularly for tech roles. Now, for technical roles and developers, you should have your GitHub repositories, your case studies, your live demos, and every other thing Emeka has spoken about. You should always have that. For creative roles and for designers, for creative roles, I mean social media, content creation, all of that. And then for designers, UI, UX, graphics, you should have a portfolio link. It could be Behance, it could be Dribble, or even your personal website, however you want it. You should just show all of your work that you've done, your sample projects, your design work, and then your media projects. Now, for business, marketing, and management, you should be able to, you might not necessarily have a portfolio, but you, if possible, please put something together that highlights your the significant projects and your measurable impacts, just everything you've worked on. If it is metrics, if it is whatever will be able to show the impacts you've made and the achievements you've made, please put that up as well. I'm going to talk about keywords as well now. Keyword is very important because I can tell you that almost, I can say 80% of CVs that are submitted are all rejected before they even get to the recruiter. So sometimes you say recruiter this. Most of the time, the recruiter does not even get to see, the recruiters don't even get to see those CVs. Why? Because the ATS would have to do the major part of the job, which is rejecting or accepting people that fit the criteria based on the job description. And we all know how automations can be. Now, keywords is very important because the way ATS is set up, ATS is set up in such a way that they are able, the ATS screens CV by keywords. The screen CV is using keywords. I'm going to give you a typical example. Let's say I have a DevOps role that I have posted up for applications and people start applying. Now, if you check the DevOps job description, there'll be a lot of keywords you'll see there. You'll be seeing a lot of things like Kubernetes, you'll be seeing a lot of things like AWS, Azure, you'll be seeing a lot of things like Docker, just a lot of DevOps keywords. Now, if you have a CV and you do not have all of those keywords, even if you have that experience, the ATS would not recognize your CV, or the ATS will not recognize you as someone with that experience. Why? Because you do not have those keywords. Say I put up an application, I put up an ad for a backend Python role, and you're a backend Python engineer, and you submit your CVs, and I do not see Python plastered all over the CV, or I do not see backend, or I do not see, let's say, APIs. You know all of the keywords that are necessary for a backend role, depending on the programming language, and you do not have that in your CV. Best believe that the ATS is going to kick you out. Now, what do you do? If you're confused on what keywords you should use in your CV, I believe that by now, whatever role you are in, or whatever career path you're in, you should already know the keywords that are very, very important. Now, if you are still confused, go back to the job description, the job that you're applying for. Go back to the job description. Just look at what you have in the job description. Look for the keywords that you know resonates with your skills and ensure they all appear in your CV. Now, always use the job description to match what you have on your CV, because whatever the ATS is going to screen is definitely going to be based on the job description. So always ensure you look at the job description against your CV and make sure that your CV is answering to whatever questions or whatever requirements the job description is asking for. Now, I think that will be all for now. Do I take questions before we go into the CV review proper? All right, maybe we'll just go into the CV review proper.
Do have a question.
Okay, what question?
Good. Let's say that you have like maybe 10 years of experience where you work for like many companies, maybe 10 or something, where you have like a lot of achievements. How do you make sure that it fits in maybe like 1 page or 2 page or something. Yeah, because this is what I'm struggling now.
You definitely cannot put 10 years experience in 1 page or 2 page. You can't even put 3 years experience in 2 pages. You can't even put 3 years experience in 2 pages. What advice is make it as short as possible, at most 3-4 pages. You can put the 2 most relevant experience or the 3 most relevant experience. Then for others, you can just put the name of the company, the role, and the time you worked there. You don't have to put all of the responsibilities and achievements. So you can just put that down. Then for the responsibilities and achievements, you can just put that for maybe the top 3 most relevant, or the 3 most relevant experience you have. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, somehow, but I was told that having like a very big resume, like 3 to 4 pages, it's a bad practice, and like recruiters want it short as possible. Yeah. I don't know.
Okay, one thing I always tell people is we have different recruiters and we have different people with different requirements. Me personally, as a recruiter, I want to see everything we've done. I want to see everything we've done. Some other recruiters might not want to see all of it. They might just want to see 1, they might just want to see 2. It totally depends. It's not an issue of one size fits all, if you get what I mean. So some recruiters don't want to see all of it, while someone like me, I don't mind seeing everything. So I would not say it's a bad practice.
Yeah. Cool.
Find a middle ground. 3-4
Yeah.
pages, fine. Find a
Yeah.
middle ground. All right. So let's go to the practical CV review. Kando, could you please help with that?
Yes, I can. Francis, you can ask your question in the chat so that we will address that. Okay. Can you see this now?
Yes, I can. Thank you very
Yep.
much. All right. So we have a CV in front of us. This is a front-end engineer CV. We have there's no name here. I took out the name, but please ensure your name is there. We have senior front-end UI UX. You can see how clear it is. Very clear. I don't even need to look at it twice to understand this is a front-end engineer. Now we have his website here. We have his LinkedIn. We have his GitHub. We have his Behance, and we have his email. Now, this does not have any phone number. I would assume that if I check his website, I would see his phone number. This is me assuming, but please ensure you have your phone number. Ensure you have your phone number. Not everyone is patient enough to click on your website, to start looking for your phone number. Ensure you have your phone number here. But apart from that, this is properly arranged. This is very good looking. This is very okay. Now, remember when I was explaining, I mentioned that your project should come last. Now, as much as I said your project should come last, this is also not a bad way to put it. You can see it is very clear, good spacing, properly arranged, and it is not just scattered everywhere. It is very okay. Just looking at it at one glance, I already understand what he wants to show me here. Now, this is his professional summary, just 3 lines, 1 paragraph. Design-focused front-end engineer with more than 8 years of practical experience. I have specialization in developing scalable, optimized, and user-friendly web applications. Throughout my career, I have excelled in collaborating with others, and I am recognized for my quick grasp of new concepts and technologies. Simple and clear. Now we have the skills. You can see he listed out his skills here. There are many ways you can list out your skills and still make it very plain. I'll show you another CV. That candidate arranged his skills in a better way, but this is not bad at all. This is not bad at all. You can see the spacings. You can see it is one font he is using throughout. Now, look at the headings, the skills, the experience. You can see it is the same. They're all the same size and they're all bold. Now, for shape construction, you can see shape construction is the name of the company he has worked in, which is why it is blue. Very clear. United Kingdom, remote, front-end engineer. Then you can see the date he worked, November 2023 to present. Shape Construct is a SaaS product. He put a brief intro for me to understand what kind of company he has worked in. If you can do this, very good. If you can't, not bad as well. But this is perfect. Now, technology use. Now, this is for my developers. Please, as much as you can put it on top here, or you can put it down after the bullet points. Ensure for every place you have worked, or for every work experience you put up, you put your tech stacks, the tech stacks you worked with in that place or in that project. Ensure you always put it there. Now he put it out clearly: JavaScript, TypeScript, all of it. And then in bullet points, he has been able to state all of what he did. And if you check, he did not just put responsibilities, he put his achievements as well. Now, bullet points 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Please, you don't have to put 7 bullet points. You don't have to put 10 bullet points. 4, 5 is enough. At most 6. But I advise you just make it 4 or 5. Now, you can see it is still the same consistency. Bread financials, the same USA remote, that is where the location of the company, the role, front-end engineer, the year October 2022 to October 2023. The same fonts, the same colors, everything the same thing. A brief intro about the company, the tech stack, and then his responsibilities and achievements. Please scroll down, Kando. So you can see the same thing. Just scroll down. The same thing. Scroll down. You can see the consistency. Nothing is changing. It's still the same thing. Now, we have his education and certification. He puts these two together. Now, we have product school here. We have Udacity here. We have NVIDIA here. We have NIT. We have NYC. And then we have you don't have to put your NYC, but hey, if you want it, you can still put it. And then you have Ambrose Ali University. This is his university education. So all of his certification and all of his education, he has properly arranged them here. Now, the name of the educational body or the name of the institute, then what certification he took, and then the year. You can see how clear it is. Please scroll down. Then for his projects here, if he has listed out all of the projects, you can see the way he put them here. EdTech platform for exam success, then a brief intro about the project, then this UPass, you can click on it and it will take you to the link. Then he has already listed everything, just almost the same way he did his job description. You can see he listed everything he did on this project. This one, same here, and scroll down. Now, this does not mean these are the only 2 projects he has handled. If you go to his website, you'll see a lot of other projects, but he just puts these 2 in his CV for the recruiter or whoever is going through the CV to see. Now, if I want to see more, I can now go to his website to see more. Can we have the second CV, Kando? All right, this is a more senior CV, and this is another pattern entirely, but yeah, still the same format. I took out the name. You can see Chief Technology Officer, Lead Software Engineer, Project Manager. Then he listed all of his all of the roles he has done. Now, this is this way because of the kind of role, his level of experience. You can see his professional summary. He did it in bullet points, which is not bad. 3 bullet points, which is not bad at all. And I understand this because of the level at which he is operating from. Now, for his competencies, you can see his competencies here. You can see his technologies. Now, I like this technology and primary skills aspect. Please scroll up a bit. I like these technologies and primary skill aspects. You can see he's very, very clear here. Development, technology, methodologies, and environment. You have agile and waterfall. Systems, he listed them out. Languages, listed them out. Clients, front-end technologies, he listed them out. Databases, listed them out. Frameworks, listed them out. CMS, e-commerce platform, DevOps, everything, he listed them out very, very clearly. So even a recruiter that is not very experienced with these technologies or that doesn't really understand all of these technologies will still be able to look at this and understand what he is talking about. Let's go down to his professional experience. Professional experience is still the same thing as your work experience. You can see the same thing here, where he worked, the dates. Now, this is an error. The months he worked should be here, but it is not here. But please ensure you always have your own. Till date, it's still the same thing as till present. Then his role, and these are his achievements. The same thing, where he worked, the name of the company, the role, and the achievements. You can see all of his achievements here. You can see the bullet points, the fonts, font size, the fonts, professional fonts used. Everything is very clear. Scroll down, please. Then here we have his education. You can see everything listed out up until his BSc. This does not have his projects. This does not have his portfolio, but please ensure you have yours. With that, I think I have come to the end of my session. If you have any questions, please ask away.
Thank you very much, Chi, for sharing all of this. I think we have a question here from Justina. Are there tools or methods available to check if my resume is optimized for ATS compatibility?
Oh, yes, there are some tools. Oh, I can't remember, but I know there are some tools. If you check online, there are some tools that you could just pass your CVs and then they just let you know where I think they give like a scoring. They give a scoring on your CV and then let you know the parts where you should improve on. There are a lot of tools out there. I cannot remember the name, but please check. You'll find.
Okay. Let's take one more question. So this is from Francis. He's asking, how can you ensure that your resume aligns with the expectations of most recruiters and positions?
The expectation of the recruiter is the job description. It's just there's no other expectation apart from the job description. So ensure that your CV or your application aligns with the job description. See, please, if there's a job description and you do not qualify or your skills do not align, don't bother applying for it. Wait for when you get an ad or a JD that aligns with your skills. It will only get you frustrated because you keep receiving rejections, and the more you receive rejections, the more you get frustrated. Look at the JD. Not every job is yours. I think it's something I should emphasize on. Not every job is yours. You don't have to apply for every job. Just apply for the jobs that you know that you qualify for. And if you apply for those jobs that you know you qualify for, you will definitely be called for interviews. Ensure that the job description aligns with your experience, aligns with your skills, and also aligns with your CV. The only expectation of the recruiter or the hiring manager is the job description.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, just one more very last question, the last. How does one manage different versions of CVs, since we might be modifying our CVs for different job roles and keywords?
Why are you modifying your CV for different job roles and keywords? I would like to understand why. I hear that a lot and it's very funny to me. Why are you modifying yours? If you're a Python engineer, you're a Python engineer. What are you modifying it to? I'd like to know. If you're a designer, you're a designer. What else are you modifying it to? Unless I don't understand your question.
I guess she meant modifying your cover letter. People modify their cover letter to meet up the requirements.
That is still tricky because I think modifying.
Can I give a scenario?
Yes, please.
So say you're a full stack developer, right? A full stack developer, you deal with multiple, let's say you deal with multiple technologies. You might not necessarily be just a Python developer or a PHP developer, right? But then the job you're applying for requires, let's say, Python. You are pretty much good in Python. So per your submission, modifying your resume to have those keywords to be captured by the ATS. That means that I need to modify my current CV to emphasize more on the Python keywords. So I think that is where the point of view where the person is coming from. I'm proficient in multiple languages. I'm applying for this specific language at this particular point in time. I need to make sure I ace it in the keyword department on that particular application. That's the person is referring to.
Okay, I think I understand it better now. There are two things. First of all, if you can have two CVs, say you're a Python developer and you're also very good with Java, you can have a CV that's, sells your Python skills very well, and you can have another CV that sells your Java skills very well. But hey, at the same time, I have some CVs or I have some applications that come in and I see some candidates that, are very strong with Node.js. At the same time, they're strong with Java. If your CV properly shows that you're strong in both, even if you apply for a Java role, you'll still get it. So everything depends on how you're able to properly draft your CV. Do you understand me? Say you've worked in 4 different organizations, 2 of them you worked with Java, 2 of them you worked with Node.js. If you apply for a Node.js role, there's no how you will not get it. If you apply for a Java role, there's no how you will not be called upon as well. But if you want to play safe, you can now have 2 different CVs. That is totally fine. But you don't have to always modify each time you want to apply. You can just have, oh, this CV is selling my strength as a Node.js engineer. Why this CV is selling my strength as a Java engineer? But you can also put your CV in such a way that it is just one, but it sells all of your strengths at the same time. I hope I was able to answer that. I've been able to answer that question. All right.
Thank you very much, Chief, for answering that. Thank you for sharing all of the insights and reviewing the CV. I'm sure we've had a wonderful time. And it's also great that most persons ask questions peculiar to them, and you've been able to give answers to that as well. Thank you very much for doing this. And we look forward to having you again some other time to talk about this as well. Okay, so for persons who are asking how they can gain access to jobs, how you can land internship roles, I am putting something on the chat. And if you are not part of a community on Propel already, this might be the best time for you to do that. To access global roles and opportunities, sign up on Propel, join a community, and then you would find all of those available jobs on the platform. Okay, let me just check this. If you have questions, you can please send me an email and I would respond to them. Meanwhile, the conversation is recorded, so we would send the recording of the masterclass and the speaker slides as well, so you can have access to that. And just before we wrap up, to show how much we value talent in our ecosystem, I would like to play a video that is a success story of someone who has been placed from Propel because of applying to the jobs and opportunities we have available. Please let me know when you can see my screen.
Yep, okay, we can see.
Hi, it's Onuraimi, iOS engineer, mobile engineer, working with Patch, a company which I got to know about through Propel. At the company where I work at through Propel, during my recruitment process, Propel was like there all through the process to take me through it. I was prepped beforehand for my very first introductory interview, and I would say that preparation actually was very important important to me because it actually helped me. It boosted my self-confidence, and it actually made me like see my weak points and then places I could like work on to improve on myself. I believe Propel actually empowers the communities in Nigeria and helps aspiring young engineers and then senior engineers to get international remote jobs of their dreams. And if you're lucky, you can actually get a job that would like get you relocated. Yeah, so I believe that Propel is like making a very great impact in the African tech space, like because people are getting access to better job opportunities and then not just any type of job opportunity. Like I believe that Propel actually like vets these companies and then make sure that they won't be toxic companies to work in.
Okay, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Please, if possible, just use the comments to share what you've been able to learn from the session today. If you'd like to give thanks to the speakers we've had on the call today, to Chi and to Emeka, you can also do that on the comments. You will have access to this comment section, of course, after the call. So if there are any questions that were not answered during the masterclass, we'll get to answer them. And yes, we'll do our best to give answers to all of that. Thank you, everyone. This was a really interactive session. Thank you, Francis. Thank you. I'm not sure I got your name, but it's cool beats here. Thank you for engaging and for asking questions and making the masterclass interactive. For future conversations, we will be having other masterclasses as well, and this would be focused on other niches based on the communities and interests that we have currently in our ecosystem. So the next masterclass would be on design, and we'll be talking about AI and design, how AI is changing the entire creative environment. After that, we would also have sessions on data, we'll have sessions on cybersecurity, and if there is any topic, if there is any niche you would like us to cover in the master classes as well, when you get onto the website, you can easily send us an email and we would consider that. If you are not part of a community currently, you can join with the link I dropped on the chat section, sign up as a talent, and you would find a list of communities that match your skill sets or that match your niche. You have the liberty to join any community. You will gain access to opportunities and jobs that are provided for that community. Someone is asking how you can join, how you can add your community to Propel. I dropped my email here, but I would do that again. Please send me an email and I would take it up from there. Great, this has been a wonderful session. Thank you so much, everyone. And I look forward to having you all again join. When you receive the email for the recording of the masterclass, you would also receive a link to subscribe to our event calendar so that you don't get to miss the other masterclasses that we have lined up for the rest of the year. And with that, do have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye, everyone. Bye.